Welcome to Crafts and Minis. This week is a bit of a milestone as I've completed 10 weeks of the hashtag hobby streak, where every day I do just a little bit of work in the hobby. Now this week was a little unique from the others because I actually got to play. I hobby all the time, working on conversions and basing and painting and terrain and all of that. But I'm like so many. I don't get to play all that often. So I actually got to play a game of Rangers of Shadowdeep with a buddy, and that was awesome. I'm getting together a restart of my D&D group, which is a lot of fun. That should be starting up here in another week, so that'll be awesome. And I was able to work on a little bit of terrain, but I don't want to show you that yet until it's finished. If you want to see some work in progress shots, you can follow me on Twitter at Crafts and Minis. This week, though, for painting in the hobby, I was able to complete all that you see in front of you. I think this is 26 minis. And what's kind of cool this week is that a lot of these are just toys that I've converted for the tabletop. Now, to get the ones that aren't toys out of the way, you see the Umber Hulk in the corner. Yep, you've seen that exact figure multiple times because I have a ton of them, and I used a heat gun so they stood up a little bit straighter even though he's way crouched over still. And I just like the look of him. You know, it's a real easy paint job with a sepia wash from Vallejo in the 200 milliliter jar, which I repeat again and again. And I just found a new source of those online, so I'm excited to place an order this week. And I think the red eyes on the monsters right now are working for me. I also painted up these three on the left back Gnoll archers. So these are Reaper miniatures, bone sculpts, and these were crazy quick paint jobs. These are what I committed to paint for the Goblin Paint Challenge for Michael Mordor. And this week I said I'd paint up three of these, and up close, the closer you get, the worse they look. But I used multiple colors, did these up really quick, and from a distance, they look awesome. Now, what's interesting is they're on 40 millimeter bases, which is almost 2 inches, but not quite. But these Reaper Gnolls are just big. Now, I like to mix them with the Gnolls from Frostgrave that North Star puts out. But the North Star Gnolls are true 28 millimeter figures. These are way bigger. But I know there's a tradition or in the lore, right, to have some bigger Gnolls called Flynns. So in my world, yeah, I got bigger Gnolls also that, work too. I have a ton of the smaller Gnolls that are 28 millimeters, but the bigger ones, I'll just say are like Flynns are more normal, and there's a ton of them. So that's kind of fun. Now, they have huge bows, so I don't know if I'm going to treat them like I will the ogres that have the crossbows. I'm going to treat those like ballistas, but huge bows, they'll have to get some sort of bonus. What's also fun is I got these goats done. These goats are toys. So they're sold, and don't ask me which one because I don't know, in some pack of toys. But what I did here was give them a super quick paint job, washes, dry brushes, all the good stuff, multiple colors, just because these are work goats, right? These are goats for pulling carts, and I'll show you someday the carts that go with those. But I like to get those type of things done and out of the way because I'll use those again and again and again. And you can tell if those Gnolls are big and on a 40 millimeter base, those goats are huge, right? So that's kind of fun to have a bigger size creature. I don't know if they're dire goats or what, but they're big. They pull carts. It's awesome. These spiders, I've had primed up for a long time, and I just wanted to get them done. I'd already painted some like these. Now, these are actually from toys, but they are super detailed, actually. I know the paint job is horrible, right? Because that's just a wash on top of a lighter color. But if I wanted to, I could pick out the details on these later, and they'd look pretty good. But these are more like wasteland spiders, because if you saw my video on the Queen's Guard, you can see some of my wasteland terrain, and those, are good to go in it, especially, and they actually came from a toy set that you can find these same type of spiders, and then a little smaller version that fits actually on a 1-inch base, because these are a little bigger than 1 inch. The 1-inch base, right, is this size. So they're on a little bigger. And these actually, the bases they're on, I don't know if I've mentioned this particular one. It's a type of teacher's tool, a counting chip that they use in classrooms that comes in all these different colors. Like this one's yellow, there's blue, red, orange, whatever, that you can buy in a bucket. And so they're just a little bigger than 1 inch, which is really awesome. But they came in this set of toys that you used to be able to get from Toys R Us. And it was like the, it was, gosh, the television channel, Animal Kingdom. I don't remember. But it was a particular brand of toy set that actually a number of them came with these sets of spiders. And the spiders are amazing. And they actually come on a sprue. You have to clip them off, which is crazy for a toy. And yeah, they're perfect for gaming. Now, speaking of clipping stuff, right? I got 12 of these done. And again, I've had these primed up for a while. Now, these are nothing crazy special, except they were crazy cheap, right? So if you look straight on, that's the front of a toy scorpion. And those little pockets there are the eyes and little horrible detail for the mouth. But I just cut off all the limbs, the pinchers, the legs, the tail. You can see the spot for the tail, and based them up like this. And I just wanted another variety of grubs, right? So I'm calling these my Wasteland grubs. And it's nice to have a dozen of them because that's versatility, right, in your game. Depending on the size of the party or what they're encountering, you can throw a bunch of these out. You can have some sort of creature that produces these. That would be kind of cool. Or, you know, something like some spot in the cave wall where these just start climbing out of, that if you can somehow close that spot, the flow will stop. But if not, they'll just keep coming. Something like that. You know, it's a lot of fun to have just crazy little creatures that are pretty versatile. And these turned out way better than I thought. I, of course, used a sepia wash on them. That's why my stuff all looks the same, guys. I keep saying that, but it works for me. Now, do I just leave it that way on most miniatures? No, I still paint over a little bit and pick out highlights and details and all that. But on these, I didn't. These just have the spray primer, Zenithal, black, white, and then a little bit, I highlighted a little bit with white before I put on the sepia wash, just because some of them were primed a little unevenly. But you can tell, like, even in this cheap plastic, there's detail there on the top of them. And that's what a wash ideally can do, is allow that detail to just pop. Now, could I have gone back and started picking them out more? Sure. But for what these are, that's fine. So this week I was relatively happy with what I was able to get done. I mean, it was a lot of batch painting and pretty quick stuff, and I didn't get a whole lot of time here because I was doing a little sculpting on some Funko Pop figures that you can see in my Toy Haul video, Toy Haul number 2. And I was also working on some terrain that's not done yet. But overall, I was happy that I kept the streak going. Actually, one night this week, I was already in bed and you know, ready to drift off when I remembered I hadn't done anything for the hobby streak that day yet. And so I got out of bed and I did it. And that was a little much, right? Like, the hobby streak shouldn't be some big imposition on you, especially if it causes stress. Don't worry about it. But for me, it's been a lot of fun to just see how long I can keep this going. And at this point, I'm up to 70 days, which is awesome. So this is the progress from the last week, week 10. Thank you so much for checking in. I am just so excited that more people are subscribing and finding this channel, which is so much fun. I love all the interactions on social media also. And I know there's a new Discord, so I'm not super into Discord. I belong to a number of them now, but I don't know what I'm doing. But a new Discord was just started about cheap miniatures and where you can find cheap miniatures. So I'm going to take some still shots of some of this and post them on there, and I'll put a link to that Discord if I can figure it out in this description. So I appreciate you taking a look. Thanks for all the support. Hope you have an awesome week. Hope you are able to do a little bit in the hobby, and of course, go get after your hobby.